upon my thinking about you, about where I am going. I can't stay, but I can hardly move. I can't say what I'm off to. I want you to get
I went on a cruise trip to New Zealand back in 2019. I know this video is like 2 years late. We went on the Ovationoftheseas 9-night cruise, and looking back at all the footage, I miss traveling so much. As you can see, here we are waiting in line at the terminal to get our luggage delivered on board the ship. Apparently our ship arrived later than planned, so our boarding process did take longer than what we had anticipated, but all in all it was quite a smooth process. You'll need to pass through an X-ray machine and have your carry-on scanned. I remember I got stopped because I brought a drone and they needed to record the names of the guests who brought drones with them. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you are also planning to bring one in the future. So as you can see, when we made it to our room, our luggage was already left outside for us. And this is how our stateroom looks like. We got one with a balcony, which was lovely, and here is the bathroom. On the day of embarkation, I actually had to rush to Big W to get a travel adapter because I realized at the very last minute that they only have European and American standard power plugs. So yeah, don't be like me, it was stressful. Here is the beautiful view of Circular Quay from the balcony. We then went to a compulsory guest assembly drill, and afterwards we got a little hungry, so we decided to go to Sorrento's to get some pizza. The presentation here is a bit of a mess, but the pizza was really good. And at 5 p.m. the ship started sailing and we went outside to enjoy the view. We then went back inside and decided to go to American Icon Grill for dinner. This is one of the free restaurants on board, and if you're wondering, we did my time dining, which gave us a lot of flexibility. Here is all the food. Sadly, I have forgotten what everything is called, but it was really delicious. After we had dinner, we decided to go and watch the show Pixels, which is described as an art meets tech production as it combines performance art with music, cinematography, and artistic experiments. So it was really cool, and that was the end of our first day on the ship. The second day was another sea day. We started off the day by going to the Windjammer Buffet for breakfast, which has a lot of variety, and if you get a seat next to the window, it's super nice and relaxing. Day 2 was quite rocky and I did feel a little seasick, but this really nice lady came over to me and told me that eating green apples and looking into the horizon helps to cure seasickness, which was actually really helpful. We then just explored around for a bit and went back to our room to relax. For dinner, we decided to go to Silk, which is right across the American Icon Grill venue we went the night before. We really enjoyed the food and atmosphere in Silk, so we had dinner there quite a few times during the trip. Also wanted to mention that there is a dress code for each day, and on this particular day it was formal night. We then went to see a performance by a multi-award winning vocalist, and I remember her singing Adele's Rolling in the Deep, which was really amazing. The third day was also a sea day, and it was raining. This was the day that the ship rocked the most. As you can see, the waves were enormous. So on this day we pretty much just explored around the ship. This is the Royal Esplanade, which is one of the main shopping areas on board. There are shops like Michael Kors, Kate Spade, Port Merchants and more. We also took a closer look at the robot bartenders at the Bionic Bar, which is pretty cool. Here you can order cocktails mixed by robot bartenders. To give you guys an idea of how strong the waves were on this day, just look at this footage. I forgot to film dinner on this day, but we ate at Silk again, and here are some photos of the food. Day 4 was my favorite day. We sailed through the 3 sounds and it was honestly breathtaking, definitely the highlight of the trip. We woke up bright and early on this day and went onto our balcony to take in the scenic views of Milford Sound. We then decided to go to the top deck so we could see the view on both sides, and it was just so beautiful. Milford Sound is a world-renowned natural wonder with towering peaks, cascading waterfalls, and amazing wildlife. I was just in awe by the sights. We then felt a little hungry, so we decided to head over to the cafe at 270 to get some breakfast. 270 is an amazing venue to sit and relax because you get to enjoy panoramic views, which is of course especially enjoyable when cruising through the sounds. So we just sat here and ate for a bit while taking in the stunning view. As much as we loved sitting in 270, it was kind of difficult getting nice photos because of the lights reflecting off the windows. So later we went back outside to the lower deck to get better photos. We also came across a small cruise. Fun fact, the Ovationoftheseas can carry up to nearly 5,000 guests, so you can just imagine how massive this ship is. We then went up to the windjammer to get some fruit and sat outside to enjoy the gorgeous view. This was definitely one of my favorite moments on the cruise. The view was just spectacular. At around 1 p.m, we arrived at Doubtful Sound, which is the deepest and second largest fjord in New Zealand. We also spotted some bottlenose dolphins, which was really awesome. Doubtful Sound was named by Captain Cook because he was doubtful that he will be able to sail his ship back out of the sound. So that is how the name came about. The weather started getting quite gloomy, but at 3:30 p.m. we arrived at Dusky Sound, and the origin of the name again is from Captain Cook, as he first sailed to it at dusk in 1770. Dusky Sound is 25 miles long and is the longest fjord with many complex parts. It is filled with many large islands, including Anchor Island, Long Island, and Cooper Island. On these you might be able to see seals, penguins, and other wildlife. But unfortunately we didn't sight any seals sunbathing on the rocks, but we did spot quite a few waterfalls. As you can see, it was getting really chilly at this point, and a lot of the guests went back inside the ship, while some were enjoying their time with iFly. So yeah, that was the end of day 4, such an amazing day. It was then time for dinner, so we headed over to American Icon Grill. Day 5 was a disappointing one because we were supposed to arrive at Dunedin and I had all my itinerary planned out. I was so excited for the day, but unfortunately the captain said because of the strong wind it wasn't possible to dock the ship, and I was so gutted, but there was nothing we could do about it, so we just relaxed on board and tried to make the most out of the day.
Let the sea breeze lead us there, and the ocean be our home.
We spent the day exploring the shops, checked out the casino and Boleros, which has live music. I then went back to our room and did some reading.
You said, won't you come my way?
For dinner we went to Silk again, of course. I remember the food on this night was especially good.
Dancing, oh, dancing sun. We'll go dancing, we'll go dancing, oh, dancing sun.
Day 6 we arrived at Wellington, the capital of New Zealand. In the morning I had my breakfast on our balcony, and then we went to the lower deck to get ready to leave the ship.
What if I don't see it anymore? What if I don't feel it in my bones?
We got our free shuttle bus tickets and waited in line to get on the bus at the port. Here we are on the bus, and we got off at the northern Lambton Quay stop and spotted the Beehive, which is the New Zealand Parliament's iconic executive wing building. We then made our way towards the Wellington Cable Car, which is New Zealand's only running funicular railway, so of course we had to go check it out. It departs from Lambton Quay and goes all the way up to Kelburn.
Take me out, take me out of the cold. Take me out of the storm.
So here we are at the Kelburn Lookout, enjoying the panoramic views of Wellington City and the harbour. We then took a stroll around the Botanic Gardens, which covers 25 hectares of colourful botanical displays, specialised plant collections, and a unique landscape of protected native forest.
all I ever needed.
Wellington Botanic Gardens is one of the earliest public gardens in New Zealand, and when we went in 2019, it was the garden's 150th anniversary.
Take me out, take me out of the cold. Take me out, take me out.
We then headed over to Cuba Street, which is one of Wellington's best known streets. Also, we went past the City Gallery earlier and there was this 5-meter sculpture of a hand with a face on it. Not gonna lie, it was a little creepy. Anyway, Cuba Street has such a vibrant atmosphere, and for lunch we decided to have Thai food, which was actually amazing. Next, we went to the Museum of New Zealand. This is one of the best museums I've ever been to, and it's free entry as well. We started off with a nature exhibition, which has more than 1,200 specimens on display. It was such an immersive experience, and I really loved how interactive everything was. This is the nest area, and when you step inside, you can learn about the native birds, and by touching the egg for each species, you can hear their calls. So this is called the Guardians area and focuses on environmental issues such as water quality and climate change, and we also got to see the only colossal squid on display in the world. We then went to see the Gallipoli exhibition, which tells the story of the Gallipoli campaign in World War I through the eyes and words of 8 New Zealanders. There were 3D maps and projections, miniatures, dioramas, and as we moved through the space, we also encountered these remarkable, larger-than-life models that looked so strikingly realistic. This was also such an immersive experience that really brought New Zealand's Gallipoli story to life. And here we are back on the ship. We chilled on the top deck for a little while and then went to Seaplex to play some table tennis. For dinner, we went to Silk again. I didn't get to film everything, so here are a few photos of the food. And that was the end of day 6. On day 7, we arrived at Picton, a picturesque seaside town located in the heart of the Marlborough Sounds. For breakfast, we just went to the cafe at 270 and then got ready to leave the ship. Once we got off the ship, we were greeted by the Picton flower ladies and they gave us each a cute flower pin. So here we've arrived at the Picton Memorial Park. As you can see, the weather was absolutely gorgeous, and apparently Picton is known as one of the sunniest places in New Zealand. So we obviously didn't get enough of cruises because we decided to go on another cruise. We went on Beachcomber cruises to Ship Cove.
Good morning everyone, welcome aboard Beachcomber Cruises. Julian's my name.
I remember this was around a 3-hour cruise, and look, there's our ship. But yeah, I'm really glad that we chose to go on this cruise because it was really informative and the scenery was amazing. It goes up through the beautiful Queen Charlotte Sound, and along the way we were provided with so much information about the surrounds, the history and the wildlife. And one of the highlights was definitely seeing so many dolphins jumping out of the water. It was incredible.
When I'm with you,
I don't know if you guys saw in the footage, but there were numerous seabirds just diving into the water one after another, and I've never seen anything like that before. Anyway, that was honestly so amazing. So here we are continuing on our way to Ship Cove. Ship Cove is where Captain Cook anchored his ship the Endeavour back in 1770 in order to replenish his supplies of food, water and wood, and is recognised as Captain Cook's favourite base in New Zealand, as he returned here a further 5 times between 1770 and 1777.
yeah, when I'm with you, when I'm with you,
Cove, we had about a 30-minute stopover here, so we took the opportunity to relax and explore around this historic place. I really loved it here. It was so peaceful, and there were also these little wakers, I think that's what they're called, and yeah, we really enjoyed our time at Ship Cove.
When I'm with you, when I'm with you,
So here we are on our way back to Picton. I feel like the scenery back was even more stunning. We made a couple of stops in between, and I remember there was one stop where there was this beautiful secluded house, but I can't remember what this place was called. Anyway, here we are back in sunny Picton. Once we got off the cruise, we went and explored around the town. Picton has a lot of cafes and restaurants. I went and got a hokey pokey ice cream, and oh my gosh, it was so good. We then looked around the shops and got some souvenirs for our friends. We then walked back to the park and relaxed there for a while before heading back on the ship. Picton is honestly such a beautiful seaside town, and I'm so glad that we had the chance to visit. So that was the end of our Picton day trip. For dinner we ate at Silk again, and now we're on to day 8. I didn't get much footage on this day, but we pretty much just worked out at the gym because we ate so much on this trip. And here is a shot of the creme brulee that was made for dinner at the Windjammer. In the evening we went and watched a show performed by really talented artists, and yeah, that was pretty much day 8. Day 9 was also very chill. We spent the morning in 270 as there was a dance class, so I sat and watched for a little while. We then went up to the Windjammer for lunch, and there was a little crew parade to celebrate the last full day on the ship. We also had dinner at the Windjammer, and because it was the final night, they made so much cake for the guests, and they all looked so delicious. There was also this beautiful cake that had the words "thank you" written on it. So here we are back in Sydney, and yeah, that was my New Zealand cruise trip from 2019. I had such a fun and relaxing time, and I can't wait till when we can travel again. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. I'll see you in my next video.